from the attack to lay out their demands. They're calling the attacks the Blacklist.
The Blacklist.
The Blacklist.
Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Splinter Cell Blacklist Perfectionist difficulty video walkthrough. This is Mission 5, the Abandoned Mill, and once again we're equipping like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. So, the gadgets I recommend are the shock mine, the proximity shock mine, because it's fantastic. I recommend the sleeping gas, because that's fantastic. The cameras can be good, the sticky noisemakers can be good, and the gyrocopter thing can be good as well, or the tricopter, whatever it's called. A lot of this is going to be preference, folks. For instance, you will never see me buy a weapon on this entire run because I use the standard pistol to knock out lights, and I use the stun gun to do all the work. I don't even think I buy the crossbow. You do a level later on where you've mandatorily got the crossbow for some strange reason, and I never figured out why. But this is me back in the cockpit, tempted to buy some things. You may be wondering, what does upgrading the cockpit do if you're new to the game or you're just curious? Well, certain things allow you to have bonuses in mission, but also it adds a modifier to the points that you get, and it also adds that to your money, so that the more upgraded the paladin is, the more money you get for the modifiers, and it can make getting cash a lot easier. So even if you're not buying things, or if something you're not interested in, it's still a good idea to buy it. And if you're an achievement junkie, or you're somebody that goes for trophies and achievements, you get one for fully upgrading, so it's worth doing. But this level here is set in sunny London, as you can see. In this first room there's a sniper and there's an attack dog. So take out the dog and then just push forward to the pipe to get past the sniper. And they're an interesting enemy on this game, because they have really good vision, so if you're in their lasers vision area, they will spot you super fast, and they spot you at range, because that's exactly what they do. But for the most, they're so easy to exploit, and I can honestly say I think I've only been spotted by a sniper once, and that's because I didn't know he was there, so I didn't even see the laser or anything, and it was just an honest mistake. But every single scenario I've been in where I saw the guy first, he's never seen me. So they're intimidating at first, especially on this sequence because there's a lot of them, and they're looking both ways of the building, which is an interesting way to guard something. But my path through this is pretty tight. I was impressed with it. It's also ballsy, and you wouldn't think it would work, but it does. And it involves this next sequence here. There's two guys having a conversation across the balcony, and there's a sniper that looks down this path, so you need to be conscious of him. If you go up against cover here, when you mantle over it, it doesn't make enough sound to attract the guy's attention, which is dead weird, but it somehow works. Then from here, if you move through cover to get up here, you should be good. That being said, every so often the AI will spot you just because it's bullshit, you know, for lack of a better word. So if you get spotted on that moment and you're like, this doesn't work, trust me folks, try it a few more times. It does work, because I've done this 2 or 3 times, and it's so much easier than any other path through this rooftop I found. And, before anybody leaves comments, I found an even easier path, which they always do. You know, you can't avoid that on YouTube. The game is games, paths, difficulty, all that stuff is subjective. It's all subjective, and it's all referential to your experience. These are just my personal choices, if nothing else, for lack of, you know, a better example. But once you're up here, occasionally there'll be a sniper or a guy who's walking around on this part. I think it all depends on how fast you do it and, you know, the randomness of the AI. On this particular instance, there wasn't a dude wandering, which is rare, so you might have a slightly different encounter here, but all you need to do is put these chimneys, or whatever the hell they are, between you and the guys, navigate around them, and get down that hatch as quick as you can. As soon as you get down here, there's a room to navigate, but there's a checkpoint, and that's all we wanted. All we wanted was a checkpoint. And this level's pretty good for checkpoints. Like, I've got issues with the last one on a couple of areas, and I've also got issues on the one before, but this one, I think the checkpoints were done very intelligently. But there's his hostiles undisturbed, there's his nice modifier. And there's nobody in this room, there's no reason to crouch. All you're going to do is move over to the scaffolding and zip line down another wire. So this next room is a tough one, but it's also one that can be very easy, which sounds like cognitive dissonance or a contradiction, but you'll probably understand what I mean if you've played it. My first time through this room was hell, but it found this path, and this path makes it easy. So shoot out those two lights, and depending on where the enemy AI is, will depend on how you approach this next sequence. What you want to do is drop down to the bottom floor and move towards the windows that we can see on the far side of the room. For me, that meant dropping down there and pushing towards this side. Depending on where the guys are will depend on whether or not you get spotted, so you need to moderate your performance to what's happening in your game. These videos can only be like a frame of reference for one path through the level, and if it's not working, try something different. Try something that's similar but diverge from it. So this part here, you need to get through the doorway just to my right. It's kind of just there. You see the checked floor? That's where you want to go. So if you go along the beam, look at your radar on this point. Look at where the arrows are facing. As soon as you see a line through where the arrows aren't looking at you, that's when you make your move. So I drop down, I notice he's walking that way. I take a couple of seconds there to get my bearings. Somebody sees me, I go into cover. The cover works, and I've done it. And you can too. Just goes to show that room can be tough, but it can also be simple. So I believe when you come down here, you get a checkpoint. Yeah, you do, because you're out on this balcony. There's a checkpoint. There it is. There's your hostile undisturbed bonus. And there's always one guy on a balcony here. You can either listen to his conversation, or you can drop down and skip him. I'm always paranoid on stealth games, guys, so I always take longer than I should in certain areas. Especially when you consider that this is my second playthrough of this game, so at this point I'd owned the game for maybe less than 24 hours because I was destroying it as quickly as I could. And it's all because America get games on Tuesdays, so me getting a game early on Thursday is already 2 days late from America, so as far as making this the first guide on YouTube, I have to move. You know, geographically I can't do it because it's just not how the world works. And my channel at this moment in time is so small that I can't exactly get review copies, although it's something I hope to be able to do in the future. And if you're wondering then, folks, I was waiting for the guy on my right to turn around. This bit here is another luck-based, AI-based section. If you do it like I did then, you should safely be able to just crouch walk all the way from the pipe to where you need to go. Every so often, someone will see you. It's one of those moments where it might take a handful of times to do it, but it does work. There's a video proving it. There's your bonus. There's a skipped cutscene. And here's a section where there's a mandatory fail state. So if you get spotted, the game will end, and you'll have to restart the checkpoint. Now this bit's kind of funny too, because you know the drones we saw earlier? There's one of them on the roof. Look at him. It's just over there like John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever, just boogieing his way across the ceiling. It's awesome. I have no idea why there's suddenly a roof drone, because I don't think there's another one in the game. And if there is, I didn't notice it. And the path I took just then completely mitigates bumping into it, so you should be okay. And to trigger the next cutscene, all you need to do is get to the door and press A without being seen. If you can do that, cutscene happens. Then after the cutscene, you have to get out without being seen. This bit is slightly trickier, but it's just because they drop you in the shit. There's your checkpoint, and what I'm going to do is, I'm going to climb up the pipe that got me in the room, and I'm going to use the rafters to get to the next room. But this is the first real encounter with Sadique, who is the game's antagonist. And if you've seen 24, he actually plays an analyst in the later seasons of 24. He's an English guy, sorry. He's got a super English accent as well. He's really calling on it. And I think he does a decent job on this game as a villain. I liked him a lot. But be careful here, because the guys in the hazmat suits can see you every so often. If you sit behind this box thing, this Gears of War minecart, you should be okay. wait for him to move the other side. As soon as he starts walking, you want to walk as slowly as you can round this, or climb over it actually. Climbing over is probably a better idea. And then just walk under the shutters. And what's going to happen is somebody's going to start to see you on this bit. Just get in cover. As long as you're in cover, you cannot be seen. Well, I suppose that's another relative term, really. You can't be seen if you're on the right side of the cover, is probably a better way of saying it. And I believe you're about to see my mistake of the mission, because I make a lot of mistakes in these videos. And it's this one. So firstly, I miss him with a shot, which is lazy and pointless. I come over and tag him. If you want to get Ghost Mastery and you don't mind missing a high value target, completely ignore that guy. Because what happens here is somebody sees his body, and instead of getting a Ghost bonus, I get a shitty Panther bonus. But that right there, get up on the pipe as soon as you can. The pipes are so secure. They're the safest way to transport, aside from maybe vents. And we're going to move all the way to the opposite side of this room. We're going to drop onto the catwalk, and then when the moment is clear, we're going to climb out and go past the light and get to the next checkpoint. So, if I'd have been faster here, I might have been able to do this without them seeing the body, and I might have not got a shit bonus. But you're going to hear it. So I'm waiting now, and I'm listening, and I can't hear it.
I'm watching your vitals here. You're not looking so hot, man. Just give the word and I'll move in.
Negative.
Yeah, I can't hear it at all. But look, 5 hostiles evaded, and what I did, folks, is I restarted checkpoint immediately when I saw it, and the checkpoint was in the damn sewers with the dogs. So I cocked up another level. But hopefully, if you're watching this guide, you're going to learn from my mistakes, and you're going to get your Ghost Mastery much quicker than I did. It's just really frustrating that the checkpoints do that to you. Like, they could have sorted this by having a piece of the UI keeping your score and notifying you just with the emblem of what style you're currently in, or what state of your game is being applied. Like, they could have a picture of the goggles just above where the ammo is, or maybe next to where it says Sticky Noisemaker. It could have been anywhere in the HUD, and it would have been fine. But instead, you have no idea until you get the log at the end of a section, and then the checkpoint sometimes screws you. So it's disappointing that it is this way, but I suppose you've just got to play better. And you know, at the end of the day, it's my mistake. It's just a shame that the game's punished me for it. And it's not like that the HUD is used that well, because I think the HUD on this game is quite bad. I really like the UI. I love the text popping up in the level. I love how they use that. I just think the HUD is uninspiring and dull. And this moment here, you can sneak all the way to the tent that's got Sadique in it, but you can get caught before then, and either way, when you get caught, it's the exact same thing every time. You end up getting captured, and some shit kicks off. So this guy sees me. You do have the option to knock them out if you want to. You don't have to, though. I just kind of let him do his thing. And there we go. He shoots at me, then he vanishes. Guy's a Houdini. Makes no sense. But this is the transition to after the cutscene, and this is another mandatory combat sequence. So once again, we're going to be using the stun gun, and if I had a brain, I would be using sleeping gas. But I don't use it because I didn't think at the time. But it's all good, folks, because if you flank the way that I flank, you'll get on a side-on advantage on these enemies, and you can just use rigs as a scapegoat, as a sacrificial lamb to pull focus and pull aggro from the enemies. But these bits are probably going to be the ones that are scrutinized the most by the, you know, the hardcore Splinter Cell people. Because Splinter Cell was never about this. It was always about the stealth. It was always about sneaking. It was always about going undetected. It was always about, you know, finish your mission, Sam. I'm pulling you out. Somebody found a body 2 levels ago that you didn't hide. Like, I don't know to you folks who are listening what your Splinter Cell heritage is, but I've played them all, and the early days were rough. Like, the guards found bodies that you hid perfectly. The guards found bodies that you hid several checkpoints back. You know, they were so cruel, and every single time they found them, the mission ended. It was mission ending on sight, mission ending on finding bodies, any alert mission ending. And it was brutal, but I didn't mind it, because it's kind of what Splinter Cell was. It was this absolute stealth game. And there were things like, when you got behind a guy, you didn't just shiv them or knock them out. You had to do this elbow clap, and it took 2 on normal to knock a guy down. So it was this ridiculous thing of when you did get behind somebody, you were kind of like flapping your arm at them till they fell over, and none of it felt good. It all felt happy-sacky. And the aimers didn't work, the gun didn't fire where you aimed. There was all these added bits of realism that made it more difficult than it needed to be. And I still loved it. Like those moments where you could do the splits on the walls for no reason whatsoever. Like, there was only a handful of opportunities to do it, and half the time you got spotted trying to bloody do it because it was so counterintuitive than sneaking through the cheeky vent. But I still tried to do it because that's what I liked about these games. And I don't think it's in this one. That is a big downside for me personally, because I loved the splits. It was pointless. Why the hell would a 50-year-old man do it? I don't know. But boy was it stupid, and boy did I love it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope the guide is helping, and you take care now.